Hi guys, and welcome back. I can't even tell you how excited I am to be doing this video. I thought about filming this video like months ago and I never got around to it. So the fact that I'm filming it, I think it's a great video. Hopefully you will also think it's a great video, but you guys never really see me anyway do my makeup as if I was going out on the town. Okay, let's be for real. I really don't go out on the town much anymore. If I'm going to dinner, like the little things that I do, even when I'm getting ready for work, like just the little things that I do off camera. You guys don't see that. I'm not saying anything I do is some kind of revolutionary makeup trick or hack. It's just something I think that is worth putting out there, and it works for me. I will try throughout this video not to say use what works for your skin type, use what works for you, because that's very important. Oh my god, I have a stink bug in here and he just fell from my window. Does anybody else not kill stink bugs and put them outside? That is me. I won't kill a stink bug. Anyway, I will try not to say that throughout this video. But that is what's very important. This works for me, my skin type. So use what I do at your own discretion. It is hot in here and I feel like my face is getting red. Whew. So the first thing that I do is wash my face and do all of my skincare. I have combo skin, so I get kind of dry in certain places of my face, but I get oily in the center of my face. I think the biggest thing when it comes to skincare for me is letting all of it absorb into the skin before doing my makeup. I will let it absorb for at least 15 minutes, up to hours. Like today, I washed my face like several hours ago, and now I'm actually sitting down to film. So that's step one, let all of your skincare absorb so that your makeup isn't slipping and sliding all over your face. The next thing I would do is make sure that my under eyes are highly moisturized. I actually use the Dalba Double Serum All-in-One Multi-Balm. So at night, I will douse my under eyes with this and go to sleep. Before I put makeup on, I will do like one swipe, maybe two, under my eyes. It just gives so much moisture under my eyes. Now, I will be 40 in August. I don't know why I act like it's such a horrible thing, because I think living to 40 is still a blessing. There's some people that don't get to live to 40, right? So it's just like, I can't believe I'm gonna be 40. So I get dry under eyes, crepey under eyes, all that great stuff that comes with age. So I think it's really important for me to have a really moisturized under eye. And this has been my best friend. I will link it down below. Not sponsored. They don't know me. They don't know anything. They don't know I exist. I don't think it really needs to sit too long. I just kind of tap it in before I do my concealer just to make sure. But this is life-changing for me when it comes to my under eyes. So let's go in. I have some of my favorite, all-time favorite makeup products here that I'm going to use today. I'm going to start with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I used to be huge into priming my skin, like using traditional primers, and I'm not saying that they work, they don't work. It's just a lot of people, I feel like you either love using primers or you hate using them, or you don't think that they work. To each his own. I just use this. I feel like for my skin type, it is pretty much all I need. Now, it also depends on the time of year and what type of foundation I'm using, things like that. So again, these tips, tricks, hacks, whatever you want to call them, I don't know. It's just the way I do my makeup. This might not work for some of you. You might not like this product, especially if you have oily skin. You don't want that dewy, glowy look. That is the type of look I go for. So I don't know. I really like the product. I feel like it's all I need under my foundation. It works great. And yeah, it works for me. Now, if you have big pores, you need to use, you know, a pore filling primer, matte primer in your T-zone, like whatever you need to use, have at it, baby. Now for foundations, I have some favorite foundations. Again, use your favorite foundation, the foundation that works best for you. I remember this foundation working so good for me. It's the Revolution Skin Silk Luminous Serum Foundation. This is in the shade 1. Now for me, for my skin, I don't like using more than 1 drop of foundation. Depending on the drop, depending on how much product you get, that'll determine how much I use. But yeah, use your favorite foundation and a foundation that works for you. I will start with that, and I still have some product on the back of my hand. Now, I feel like I take really good care of my skin, and my skin isn't too problematic. So I also don't feel like I need a ton of coverage, because the way I look at it is that I can get more coverage from, let's say, a powder foundation or a finishing powder, something like that. So I don't like to use a lot of foundation. And I will show you also why here in a second after I blend this out. I'm using a brush. I just feel like a brush for me works really well. I can press the product in and get a seamless blend with a brush. Use a beauty blender, use your fingers, use whatever you feel like works best for you when it comes to blending out your foundation. A lot of times I'll just take the extra on the back of my hand if I don't use it, just put it down my neck. So here's one thing I do that y'all have never seen me do. I know where foundation will settle in to my lines on my face. So those places would be my forehead. I will literally go in, wipe that off. I will go in on the sides of my mouth, wipe that off. I know this seems crazy. I will also go in on the sides of my nose and under here and kind of wipe it off. Seems stupid, right? I know, but here's the deal. Less products is like less is more sometimes with your product. And I will say that again probably later on. But that is where my makeup will look terrible, and even right here. So if I don't have as much product in those places on my face, my makeup will just look better. If you have those problem areas that you know you get super, like the makeup just settles into certain places on your face, maybe give this a shot. But then I will go back in and kind of keep blending, and you will never know. You will never know that I just wiped some of that product off, because everything will just look so much better for me, especially around my mouth. I cannot stand when foundation settles into those lines around my mouth. That is my one thing that I do that y'all never knew, that y'all never see. All right, the next thing I do is use a setting spray. I will use a setting spray right after my foundation. Sometimes I'll even spray my face as I'm blending, but I do make sure to use a setting spray. My favorite's just the Urban Decay hyaluronic acid watermelon fruit extract all nighter. This is kind of like gives you a more dewiness to your skin. They also have like a matte one. So again, use whatever will work for you. I also love the Milani Make It Last setting spray. That's another one of my favorites. I don't really buy too many setting sprays because it's like I know this one works for me and I absolutely love it. This is my second bottle. So I will always set my foundation after I put it on. What's nice with the beauty blender, when I would use a beauty blender, I would spray my beauty blender Like put the foundation on the beauty blender, spray it, and then pounce it on my face. That works really good too. The other thing, I don't know if you noticed, is that I do not put foundation under my eyes. Less product, less creasing. Again, just like what I just did with wiping the foundation away in certain areas, certain problem areas on my face. Same thing with under the eyes. It might just be me, my age, all that jazz, but I keep foundation away from underneath of the eyes. Next, for concealer, I use a lighter coverage concealer. Wow, I was having like a huge brain fart there. I love using the Fenty Beauty Wear Even concealer. It isn't like this full coverage crazy concealer. I will start down here and maybe put a little out here. Just do that. I used to do the whole highlight thing. Sometimes I will, sometimes I still will, but a majority of the time, you know, putting it here down my nose, all this stuff, again, for me, my age, my skin type, all that stuff, less is more. So I will kind of keep it away. Sometimes I will go in with a second concealer, another hydrating concealer, and just kind of plop it right here. That's about it. That is usually all the concealer I do. The next thing I do is let this sit on my face at least 30 seconds. I do not touch it. I don't do anything. Go take a pee. Go make yourself a cup of coffee. Go do something. Let your concealer sit. With me using a lighter consistency, lighter coverage type of concealer as the majority of concealer underneath of my eyes, that way I will get, you know, its full benefit, its coverage, all that kind of stuff. While it's sitting there, I like to use a brush. This is the BK Beauty A506 brush. Use a beauty blender, use whatever works for you. But the thing that I do is spray my concealer. Now, you're not just gonna get it right on your concealer. There will be some spray that goes elsewhere. But I always spray my concealer with the setting spray. And I also want to point out, if you did not notice, I did not put the concealer right smack up underneath my lash line. I bring it down. That's also what I'm gonna do when I blend my concealer. I am not blending it up underneath of my eye. That will be the last thing that I do. Ooh, I just sprayed it right in my freaking mouth. So I spray and then drag it down. Dragging's probably sounds like a horrible word underneath of the eyes. Press it down. There we go. And I kind of just go back and forth. But the last step with the concealer is then taking it up underneath the up underneath of the eye. The setting spray is also doing its job and letting it set it kind of sort of in a way as we're blending, but it also gives you a little more playtime because you have let that concealer sit on the face. Now here's the deal. Sometimes I will go ahead, take the concealer down on the sides of my nose and bring it down into the cheek area. Again, because it's a lighter consistency, a lighter coverage, it doesn't really mess with my makeup too much. Now, if you're a cream, liquid, contour, blush type of person, you might not like that. So again, do it how you like to do it. When I bring it on the sides of my nose and down into my little nose area where I wiped that foundation away, I will do the same thing with the concealer. So I still haven't even touched completely up underneath of my lash line. That's what I'm gonna do now. Now that everything was pretty blended, I take it up underneath of my eyeballs last. That way I have the least amount of concealer there. Again, I will kind of go in, tap that out a little bit. I just like to make sure everything is blended. The last thing I will do is I will look up here. I like to look up as I'm blending kind of my final last steps here. Just look up. Now, I might have to go back in and blend before I do powder. But yeah, that's what I like to do. And when I use a loose setting powder to set, I will also look up. That is my next little trick I do. I take some loose setting powder. This is the Givenchy setting powder. Kind of dab it on the back of my hand just so it's even. Then I will take a gander here and go back in and get any creases out. Because see, it was already creasing there. Bada boom. Creases are gone. And sometimes it's not perfect. We're all human. We will crease. And go ahead and tap this out. Bring it down. Bring it around. Boom. Let's go ahead in on the other eye. Here's the good. Same thing. There we go. Look up and set. There we go. The under eyes look so pretty. And then again, where I kind of wipe that foundation away, I just like to make sure there is no creasing there either. And I'll take that loose powder and just kind of put this everywhere. I also really like the Huda Beauty loose powder. That's one of my favorites. But I like to set the whole face. It just kind of gives this blurring effect. So pretty. This powder is very, very pretty too. I guess the other thing I should have mentioned, I like using a puff when it comes to my loose powder. For me, it was a game changer. I used to use like the beauty blender, like a powder brush. I'm not saying you shouldn't, because some things will work for you that doesn't work for me and vice versa. So use your tool of choice. But these little Amazon puffs are awesome. I'll link them down below too. So then I'm just going to take some finishing powder and just set the rest of my face. Well, I'm kind of already set, but I do the finishing powder. If I can find my brush, I just tap some finishing powder around. I again stay away from underneath of the eyes, but I will show you what else I do underneath the eyes here in a second. Now this next little thing I do might not work for everybody. In fact, it will not work for everybody. This is just something I personally like to do. I take a lighter coverage powder foundation. I like to use the Fenty powder foundation because it's not as crazy as like the Makeup Forever or even the finishing powder I just used. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder filter. That's what I dusted all over my face, but not underneath of the eyes. I just feel like this powder foundation is just a little less than some of those others. But I take my puff, dip it in there, and go in underneath of the eyes. I feel like this helps with not only setting under the eye more, but I don't know, I just feel like it really gives this really pretty blurring effect underneath of the eyes. They just look better for me when I do this. Now, some of you, if you did this, it would be a tragedy. It would not do you any favors at all whatsoever to do this underneath of your eyes. Again, this is just something I like to do. It works for me. I kind of carve out my nose here a little bit, but I think it really just brightens up my eyes and gives me a really, really pretty, just like airbrushed finish look underneath of the eyes. I don't know, I just really enjoy it. And then I'll just kind of go in with a little fluffy brush and just make sure it's all blended. And then I will go in and bronze and blush and highlight. The one thing I want to say is a lot of times we will see TikTokers, YouTubers, whoever tell you how you need to bronze, tell you this is what you need to do, this is the right way. It's makeup, you guys. It's not that serious. Like, just have fun with it. We all have different face shapes. Carve out your face how you like. There's nothing more frustrating to me when I'm watching somebody saying you're contouring wrong, you're putting your blush wrong. You know, if you have a rounder face, you shouldn't put it on the apples of your cheeks. Who cares? Why are you so worried about what people do with their makeup? Like, it ain't that deep, y'all. It's makeup, okay? Okay. Do what you want. This is just, and this is how I like to do my makeup. Some of you guys might be like, oh Lord, why are you doing that? Because I like it. Because I want to do it how I want to do it.
And if you don't like the way I do my makeup, I will hunt you down.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Contour however your little heart desires. Just make sure it's blended. Oh, my microphone was way off. To the left. To the right. To the left. To the right. So hopefully y'all could hear me. Now for some blush. And I love a lot of blush. A lot. A lot. And I like putting blush on my nose. That's for those who don't like that. Now I'm just going in with some highlighter. Now, I don't have huge pores. I definitely have pores. I have to be careful depending on the highlighter I'm using because it will just show big time. But sometimes if it is showing bad, there's one highlight that I use that I really like, but it really emphasizes my pores, is from L'Oreal. But I would just go back in with my blush brush and kind of go over it because I always apply a lot and then try and go back in and blend things out. But yeah, I'll just kind of go back in and dab over it a little bit. Now I will go in and spray my face again. This time I will be obnoxious with it. Okay, I'm always obnoxious with it, but I overdo it when I'm finishing it off. Once everything is dry, then I will go in with my mascara. My mascara is waterproof, and I don't try and look down. I keep trying to look up. Final step is some lip gloss. So what do you guys think? I will try and hold still. Get you in here close. Let's just see what's going on my face. I think it's flawless. It's flawless every time. This is just what works for me. Again, use the products that work for you, that work for your skin type. I will put everything down below just so you guys can know what I used. Again, that doesn't mean some of this will work for you, but maybe it will. It's worth a shot. But when I do my makeup like this, it is flawless every time. It lasts. And that's the thing with makeup. You want it to last. You want it not only to last, but to look good and just be a better version of yourself. Powders work really good for me. I feel like with this setting spray, I don't really have to touch up. I'm not a big touch up person. I'm hoping that certain things that I do when I do my makeup work for you guys. Again, this isn't like revolutionary stuff. This is just what I like to do, and it works for me, and I think I look very pretty. Very pretty. So that is it for this video. If you liked it and want to see more stuff like this, let me know down below. Subscribe, and I will see you all on my next one. Thanks for watching.